Hey kids, you're listening to the internet's wettest podcast about video games, consoles, and pancakes. The SML Podcast.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual.
Everyone.
Joining as usual, Aki's here.
Hi.
Jacob's here too. I know. It's the best we've got anymore. It's the Thursday shows. What are you going to do? To make it better, Bree's here. Hey, welcome back, Bree.
Yay.
See, we just need to replace Jacob with Bree and everything will be fine.
I can't tell if Bree's talking or if her mic's cutting out or...
Yeah, I'm not hearing her. Bree, are you there?
Did you not hear me say hi?
No, we didn't.
Oh, well, I said hi, and I was super excited about it. I have no idea. No,
Yeah,
you didn't mute.
None of it picked
That was
up.
super weird. Yeah.
Maybe you
Your
blew
mic
out the
doesn't
mic.
like you today.
See, a professional would edit this and start over. I'm not a professional, and to prove that, we've got a guest on this episode. Jenny Windom of Kepler Interactive. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm ready for the chaos. I'm very excited.
You
Professionalism
also...
out the door.
Oh,
Chaos
absolutely.
Only.
It is absolutely chaos only here. We do our best to not be boring. We try. I think we do a pretty okay job about that.
I mean, I'm
You do a good
unconcerned
job
if we're boring, honestly, but...
So, Jenny, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and why you're on the show.
Yeah, well, I mean, why I'm on the show is easy because we've chatted and you've extended the invitation, and I very happily took it up. Excited to get to hang out with y'all and just talk games and Kepler and all sorts of things. But for folks who don't know me, I hold a few different roles in the industry. I've been working in the industry for 5-6 years now, so I think fairly decent amount of time, especially as an indie dev. And I started in community. I've done marketing, I've done trailer editing, I've done influencer management. That's what I'm doing right now. I work at Kepler, which is a publisher, and if you know games like SIFU and Scorn, Tchia that just launched, I'm the influencer manager for the team at Kepler, and so basically behind all those games and getting streamers to play them and all of that fun stuff. It's actually quite a fun job. And yeah, I also am with the Wholesome Games team. So if you like sort of cozy, wholesome type games, I help with that. And I also stream on my own and run like a little game club called Geeks and Grounds. So that's me in a nutshell.
You are busy.
Yeah, it's busy, but it's all good stuff and it all ties together really nicely. So I have a good time.
Yeah,
I have no idea how you had enough time to come on this show of all things.
Of all the things to make time for us.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks for the vote of confidence, Aki. I could always depend on my co-hosts for a nice morale boost.
You're very welcome. I'm realistic, and you know this.
So,
Is that really why I'm here, is to be the positive, like, excited balance on Thursdays?
Yes.
Listen to Jacob.
Joe, I can hear your baldness through the podcast.
That is very fair.
So much love.
That is very fair. Jenny, Kepler Interactive, you and I first got in contact with each other through Tchia, correct? I believe that was the game that you reached out to us to see if we wanted to preview. We looked at it over the holiday break and gave it a preview. Just launched on PlayStation and Epic?
Yes. Yep. Got it in one.
Memory sometimes works, I guess. Holy hell. Tell us, what is your role with Tchia?
So with all of the Kepler titles, I'm the senior influencer manager. So it's honestly a really fun job that doesn't feel like work sometimes, because a lot of what I do is hang out on Twitch and YouTube and just watch creators and see who's playing what games, what's trending, what are people doing, what are people excited about, and look for folks who would want to play the games we have. And I do different, with each game, I have to look for very different creators, because if folks are familiar with Tchia, it's very bright and colorful and has a sort of heartwarming story. And then you have games like Scorn, which are very dark and grimy and like almost the opposite of Tchia in some ways.
Slight difference.
And
I enjoyed Scorn.
Yeah. Awesome.
Sadly, I did not get to play Tchia because it's not on Xbox.
No, it's not, unfortunately. But so with Tchia, that was my role, was just finding folks who would like games like Tchia and to reach out to them and say, hey, would you like to play this game? And hopefully they said yes. And a lot of them did, which was really cool.
Do you sit there and watch?
Also, side note, I see Carnage in the chat saying, when's the Scorn Tchia DLC? I will say, if you look at the DLC, there's a costume DLC, a Kepler costume pack, and you can get a Scorn costume for Tchia right now if you get that DLC. There is actually a Scorn Tchia
That's awesome.
DLC.
Oh, boy.
So, it's
I
great.
can only
Kind
imagine.
of horrifying.
It's wonderful.
But
Yeah.
I need to see it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like a few of the other Kepler games, they all kind of like teamed up, and with Tchia, they said like, hey, you can put our costumes in, so Tchia can be a couple of different characters from different Kepler games, which is cool.
What other characters?
We've got the main protagonist from Flintlock, which is not out yet. We've got the Cat Quest costume. We've got Scorn, and I feel like there's one more, and I am blanking. So let me do the very professional thing, like we said, 100% professional all the time.
All the time.
And let me double check the add-ons.
I can't
really
wait
fast
for Flintlock. Oh, that game looks so good.
Oh, SIFU costume. Pfft, I cannot believe I forgot SIFU. So yeah, Tchia can have like one of 4 different costumes, all based on different games. The Scorn one is it's honestly like very weirdly cute. So yeah.
Need to see a picture of that. Or I should just grab it. I have Tchia on PS5. The problem is I don't play my PS5 much, and that leads to our first major question, which I know you really can't answer. But any Xbox plans for Tchia or Switch?
I mean, you answered it for me in that I can't really answer. So thank you for making my job easy. But yeah, no way to respond that currently. But what's exciting is like, and you probably have heard this from other folks or devs who've been on here. Anytime we do hear about people wanting games to come to other platforms, that just helps us sort of make the case and put that effort in. So for anyone listening, if you're excited about a game and you want it on a platform, nicely asking or like tweeting at an account just kind of helps build that case up. So little tip
Okay,
there.
then I'm going to ask you, can we please have it on Xbox?
Yeah, I would agree.
Let me go
I've
talk
looked
to
at
my
that one as
people.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of people who want to see it on Xbox. I know a bunch of our listeners are Xbox fans. They'd love to see it too. All I can wager is that SIFU was on PlayStation, showed up on other platforms eventually. Maybe the same thing will happen to this. Fingers crossed.
I hope so,
Maybe.
because I'm
Yeah.
really enjoying SIFU as well. I'm bad at it, but I really like it.
I'm bad at it too. And I'm like, I have played so much SIFU and my ass gets kicked every time.
See, for me, I don't want to die in it. So because I want to, beat the game at the youngest age, because I'm anal about it. And I've managed to get through the first 2 bosses without dying a single time.
Dang, that's pretty impressive.
It took me a long time to do it. It took me like 3 or so weeks to do it.
Jeez.
Yeah, she's
Like,
hardcore.
I'd die and I'd be like, okay, let's just quit this and then go right back into it and retry it. And oh, it's so hard, but I love it. I just wish I was better at it. I'm so bad.
Same.
Clearly,
Honestly,
we need a Tchia costume in SIFU.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, that would be so cool.
What kind of costumes could work in SIFU?
A lot. I would love to see the Flintlock costume in that, because
Cat Quest in SIFU.
Honestly, that would be. I love when things get juxtaposed to like really cute things and not very cute places, or vice versa.
SIFU's super cute.
That's why I was so excited about the Scorn costume, because I'm just like, oh, cozy horror.
I know. Oh, cozy horror. It's great.
I didn't know cozy horror was an official thing. Yeah, I guess
it's
so.
kind of a thing. Yeah. I mean, I've been playing, what is it, Dredge, which everyone's kind of like, that is what everyone's saying about Dredge. It's like, oh, this is the cozy horror game of the year. I feel like there's aspects that could be cozy, but it is definitely more horror the more I play. So I don't know. But I do think it has a lot of cozy stuff in it. And it's been interesting to see, just because, like, again, I watch a lot of Twitch, watch a lot of YouTube. A lot of cozy creators are covering Dredge, which has been very unexpected to see.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I believe, I mean, I see it. I also have been playing Dredge, and I normally don't like playing horror, so.
So what are your thoughts on Dredge as a cozy game compared to a horror game? Do you think it straddles the line fairly well?
I've been pondering that question actually the entire time, because I hear everyone saying it's a cozy game, and initially I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty cozy. You know, it has a lot of hallmarks of what I think coziness entails in a game, where there's time that passes, but it doesn't pass, you know, when you're not traveling. So there's not huge pressure. Fishing is really relaxing. You can like Tetris the fish into your ship, which is fun. But I think it is, for me at least, definitely leaning more towards the horror, because the tension in that game is unreal. And I think like anytime you sail anywhere, there's always the possibility of something going wrong. And I think that tension for me makes it not quite as cozy as I think some other people feel, because I think there's that always in the back of your mind, something could pop up, something could break, a rock could show up out of nowhere, and you could just run your ship into it, which I did many times, just not a few minutes ago. I was just playing it, and I was like crashing my ship on rocks everywhere. It was the worst. But I do think that they've had some really interesting, they've brought up really interesting conversations in a lot of like the cozy wholesome community about like, can horror be cozy? Can there be such a thing as a cozy horror game? Or is it just a game that's horror with cozy elements to help alleviate tension? So it's like all semantics, and ultimately it's a great game. That's really what matters. But yeah, that's what I think about at the end of the day.
I get anxiety watching you play the game.
It's really stressful.
When
it's
that
so
screen
good.
starts to get red and it starts getting tense. Oh.
Yeah, they do a great job of signaling to you when things are about to go wrong. But what I think is the trickiest is sound design. It always sounds like something is rumbling. And I'm like, that's also just the ocean. But also it could be like some Leviathan Kraken squid just coming out from the depths. Who knows? You don't until it smacks you.
So tell us a bit about Flintlock. What is that game?
So Flintlock, oh gosh, it's more of your traditional, I would say, like action, I guess, game, action role-playing kind of game. It's developed by A44, which is the studio, and then obviously Kepler is punishing it. Basically, the tagline is like, join the last stand of humanity, and we're basically standing against gods, and we're able to fight gods finally because flint and guns have been discovered, and so we're fighting gods with guns. Really cool, just like premise. It's very like, I don't know, grimy, and like you can almost smell the gunpowder from the game when you watch like the stills. It looks like it's going to be really, really cool. Anyone who likes sort of more open world games is probably going to like it. And yeah, and for Xbox fans, it is also coming to Xbox. So
yay! Is it
fortunately
everything?
I don't think I can speak to that.
No.
It's one of those, hello, yes. Let me tell you later when we have more news on all of it. But
I didn't know if it was announced for all platforms or... Is it just on Xbox or PlayStation as well?
I can see a thing here that has it advertised for a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's coming to most consoles. I just can't quite remember.
Dreamcast? Is it coming to Dreamcast?
It's going back to
Joe,
Nintendo,
it's coming
Wii,
to Dreamcast.
GameCube.
I want the Jaguar port.
Oh my gosh.
My soul hurts.
I'm like, I just wonder how many people actually know what the Jaguar is. That would be interesting to me.
A cat? What the hell is he talking about?
There are a lot of us right here, but other people not so sure.
I don't, so, that works.
Yeah. Proud of you.
Well, I'm not as ancient as you are, Joe. Jeez.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Aki, what are you excited about in Flintlock?
Cute girl and weird pet. So a lot. It reminds me very much of Greedfall, honestly, and just how everything played out in the original trailer that dropped for it forever ago. It just very much felt like Greedfall, and I really like Greedfall. So it's like, this has to be good. It has a similar tone, it feels, and then the main character was very pretty, and she had magic, a sword, and a gun, and I'm like, who doesn't like all of these things combined? And then there was that weird little pet thing that was just adorable, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that'll be part of the fun. That's Enki, and I love him. It's just such a cute, I just want all of the merch for this game, honestly. I think that's going to be really, really fun.
Is Kepler doing a lot of merch?
I think we definitely want a lot of merch. I think we're still so fresh and new. I think Kepler's been around for just 1 year, I think, over 1 year. So we've really kind of come out of the gate, just real hot. I feel like between SIFU and yeah. So I know we've got for each game merch that we want to do. And it's kind of one of those, I hope we can get the opportunity to do all of the things. What's been really fun is with all of the games, well, not all, but a good chunk of the games, we've been able to do at least fun kits for influencers. So it's not public merch, but we've had the opportunity to do things like that to send to folks on more limited basis.
Oh, if you need my address, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or mine for Flintlock stuff. I would not object to that at all.
Yeah, it's and honestly, again, that's kind of one of my favorite parts of the job is being able to help develop these fun press kits, essentially, and then be able to give them to folks. And really the curse is the fact that we have a limited budget and I have to pick. And that's always the worst part. Cause I'm just I wish I could give something to everyone.
Do you get one of these after you've made it or?
I do. I will say I do save one for myself each time.
As it should
just
be.
as a memento for myself. But yeah, it's just been really fun to do that. But yeah, Kepler and each of our games, I think our hope is to be able to kind of give everyone what they want with each game, which includes merch and all of that good stuff.
So Enki plush, that happened?
Gosh. I hope so. Again, I'm taking all the notes right now so I can go back to the team and say this is what the people want. We must make it happen.
Oh, we need a shirt. Ooh, we need a poster. No, we need plushies.
Plushies. Yeah. Y'all can even work with makeshift ship because they do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, actually, I think they did the ones. So I worked on Garden Story. I don't know if you were familiar with that's a much more indie title. Yeah, I was the community developer for Garden Story. And there is a Concord plush that Makeship did. Aww. So that was really cute.
I liked that game.
I feel bad not knowing that now. Oh no.
Wait, not knowing what?
That plush was made. Because now I know I can't get my hands on it. I know how limited those are. I have 8 of them in my bedroom right now. Oh no!
Wait, you have 8 of the plushies?
I have 8 plushies from Makeship.
From what? You cut out there.
Makeship, the place that makes the plushies. So
Which
I know
ones?
that I have an origami one. I have two of them, two different ones from the fishing cactus fishing. I don't remember how to say it anymore. One from their Epistory, one from Nanotales. I have two of them from the Dog Knights, which is a Twitter comic person, and they are dog D&D characters, basically. And I have Ankylosaurus for Pride. I swear I have another one, maybe one or two, but I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. So yeah, and I know how hard. Once those things are done, they're done. You pre-order those, and once they've been made, that's all that's made. They make it to order, and after that pre-order is done, no one else can get them. So they're hard to get a hold of. If you don't get them, then you have to hope someone is willing to give you theirs. Basically,
I was curious, so I fired up the eBays, and I was kind of shocked when I saw that there is one available. There were only 352 made, apparently. It's going for $250.
Yowzers!
What?
Ooh,
Wow.
Or best offer. So.
Or best offer.
If anyone wants to find
$3.50.
if anyone really wants to find that stuff, usually you'd want to go to Makeship Discord, because on their Discord, people actually buy and trade and sell to each other on there. So you might be able to find one there for.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, usually they're like $50, which is a bit more than what it would have cost you in the store, but not by a lot. So that would be the place to look, not on eBay. Because
if there was one on eBay for like $40, I was gonna be like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna treat Aki to something if it's only $40. $250, jeez.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous. I think
she could get her own purple plushie.
Yeah, I think the most expensive one I bought was a jumbo one, which was like $40-ish before taxes and stuff. It came out to like $54. So yeah, $250. No, that's
pricey.
Jacob, what's your most expensive plushie?
My most expensive plushie?
Good conversation.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, if anything, I've got a grunty from Dot Hack Sign that got made back in like 2005-ish.
How much do you want for it?
It's not for sale.
Damn it.
It was given to me by my college anime club.
Oh,
I didn't even know they made little stuffed animals of the grunties.
Oh, it ain't Luddy. It ain't little.
Oh, I want it even more now.
It's about the size of a small dog.
Okay, can you leave that to me in your will, please? Because
No.
I want that so bad.
My youngest would fight you and kill you for it.
I have a feeling I would win.
And then wear your skull as a hat. And I
could
dead
drop
serious when I
fine.
say my youngest would do that.
Hey, that's on eBay too.
What, Aki's skull?
No, the grunty plush.
How much is that?
$100 is the cheapest.
Oh,
Is it? It's
Wow.
blue with the little like skull thing around its neck, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, that's it.
I'm surprised it's that cheap. To be honest, I figured it'd be
this one's cheap because it doesn't have the skull necklace. The complete ones are like $150 to. They have the box sets with the shirt and the CD and all this other stuff. Jacob, you might buy this too.
What?
The big box set. Anyway, Jenny, what kind of crazy collectible stuff do you have?
I was going to say, I'm trying to actually think of what my priciest plushie would be, because I love plushies. I don't collect them consciously, but I have acquired so many. I think probably, I don't remember how much.
I can already name something you have that's probably really expensive. Any of the exclusive stuff that only influencers get that aren't sold anywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say probably the Tchia, like the Tchia ukulele or like things like that. But yeah, I think plushie wise, I have a Harvest Moon chicken that I really, really love.
Nice. I love the Harvest Moon plushies.
Oh, they're so good. I saw that Story of Seasons, actually. I don't enter giveaways, but I did this one because Story of Seasons is giving away like a cozy gaming setup, and in it includes like 2 cow plushies, a chocolate cow and a regular like cow and a flower plushie. It just looks so good. And I was like, I don't do giveaways, but I'm going to follow and retweet and do all this stuff because my God, I want the cow plushies. But yeah, I also have these like Final Fantasy cube plushies, but I don't think those were too wild. I think they're between like $30 to $40. But I love those. It's like I have a cactar, like a little Moogle and a chocobo, and they're just my favorite. I love to just stack them and punch them. Like they're really squishy, and so they're fun to like just knock over.
I have a Moogle. I have everyone has at least at some point in their life had a companion cube.
Yes.
I have not.
I have
my gosh.
a handmade alien hominid plush that was apparently limited to like 100 through the Behemoth store. Really
That's the
old.
yellow alien things, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's one of my oldest.
That's probably
plushes
I
that
have a turret. I have a plush turret that has a motion sensor on it, and it talks when you turn it on and someone walks in front. I actually got it as a gift for the other human in my house and surprised him with it by setting it up in front of the doors. It mostly just annoys the cats, though.
Sounds perfect then.
Right?
Root Beer wants the Cult of the Lamb plushie. That'd be a good one.
Oh, it is. Cute.
Oh, I do have that one. That is probably one of my favorites. It's so good.
I'm trying to think what other. I think the coolest collectible that I at one point owned. I don't have it anymore. We sold it for money a couple of years ago when things were rough with the cats. But I had a Brutal Legend statue that was about 18 inches tall. Solid resin. It was heavy. It was amazing to look at. I won it in a contest through EA. It was about your worst Christmas present, and my mom's house got robbed that year for Christmas.
Oh,
dang.
So it was like the worst Christmas I had was nothing. It was stolen.
Oh no.
And they took pity on me and sent me the statue and some shirts and some other stuff.
Well, that's nice at least.
Yeah. I think my favorite figure, I don't know how exclusive it is, but it's my favorite, is I found an Oddish figure that's like about 18, 20 inches high. And I love Oddish. I think Oddish may be tied with Bulbasaur as my favorite Pokemon. And there's not really any Oddish figures or plushes or merch. And so the fact that I found this like 3D, just beautiful Oddish figure, I was like, sold. I'll pay whatever you want. I don't even remember what it cost because I didn't even care. And I just purchased it. That's probably my most prized figure.
There's a bunch of Oddish plushies.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm like
That's
that with Magnemite stuff. They've barely made any Magnemite merch at all. And so I've actually got a little tiny Beanie Baby thing that they sell at the Pokemon store. And they finally just started selling like these bigger plushies. And my local video game store had one. So I picked that up too.
That's really cool.
And of course, one of my kids fucking ripped the like one of the magnets.
No.
Sewed it just has to get sewed back on. It's not that bad, but it's like, of course you fucking did.
I'm lucky. I like the best Pokemon, therefore it has a ton of them. I like the Eevee and all the evolutions, and they have a ton of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. You just like Vaporeon.
No, that's actually nowhere near the top of my list, but good try. I know why you said that. we're not going to explain that to anyone here because no one wants to know.
I like Psyduck. To change the subject completely.
Yeah, there isn't much Psyduck. I also love like Bulbasaur. I've seen some good Bulbasaur plushies, but they've always been sold in places where I'm like, I don't want to carry this around. And I've never ordered it online. I like finding plushies, either if they're sent to me or I like finding them like in real life because I feel like that makes it more fun to like search them up that way. But yeah, Bulbasaur plush would be awesome. Yeah. Like a giant one or like a giant Snorlax. I
swear I've seen like Snorlax body pillows or like body bean bags you can get.
Oh my god!
They used to sell it on ThinkGeek, I thought.
Did they?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
It was a sumo one.
Nice.
Yeah, I have a friend who bought one and like shipped it basically via like they bought it when they were traveling, and so they had to like package it for the airline, and it was just giant. But yeah, I have a friend who has like a giant Snorlax, and it looks so cool.
It's amazing.
There is a Gengar, which is, my Pokemon of choice. It is a portable folding sleeping bag nap pad thing. So you like roll the tongue up in its mouth, but you can basically like lay down on it, stick your head inside of Gengar's mouth. It is the cutest thing and I want it. It's not even that expensive.
Nice.
I'm just looking at all the stupid Psyduck stuff on eBay now. I'm in a hole now. We got to get out of this. What's coming up from Kepler?
Well, we've got a lot of stuff. I can't say specifics, but I'm excited that I can say we have stuff happening for like Summer Game Fest at the different, Summer Game Fest is just an amalgamation of a bunch of events. And so I would say just keep an eye on that and get excited because we have stuff that we'll be able to share when all the announcements for the whole game industry basically are happening at the same time. So right now, what's really nice for me is since Tchia just launched about a month ago, I'm in this period where I get to like kind of relax a little bit. Like I'm in my research period where I don't have to be sending a ton of emails or worrying about deadlines or things happening like really fast about people playing. I just get to relax in streams and get excited for what's coming up next. So lots of things I can't talk about, which makes for a very unexciting moment. But I think it's just going to be really cool because we've had, again, our first wave of games between, SIFU and Tchia and Scorn launching. And, we've announced Flintlock. And we have sort of this some next announcements that we're going to be able to share, which is going to be really good. So that's coming up in what month are we in now? I don't even know what time it is.
It's the end of April, I think.
April. Okay, it's coming in June, so in like 2 months.
Well, beginning of June or end of June?
When Summer Game Fest, that's usually like second week, I feel like.
Like a month and a half, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's usually centered around the second week of June is like all of the like Day of the Devs does the thing, Jeff does his thing, PC Gaming Showcase, if I remember correctly, also does something around then. Like Wholesome, we always do something around then. So I would say just around first half of June usually is when all that stuff happens.
That means the second half of June is when we got to get you back on the show.
Yeah, so I can truly talk about everything.
Well, since you can't talk about Kepler stuff, you mentioned you're with some other teams and companies. What's some fun stuff you can talk about? Yeah,
well, I don't think I mentioned this. I'm also a co-owner of a indie dev co-op called Soft Not Week, and we are currently making a game called Spirit Swap, Lofi Beats to match 3-2, and we are in just the midst of development right now with that, and that's been super fun. We're getting close to, we're actually working on an updated demo, and I'm very excited for us to be able to share that eventually with folks because there's a demo right now on Steam, but we've worked on the game a lot since we uploaded that demo, and it's now not super reflective of the quality that we have. And so I'm excited to be able to update that and actually be able to feel confident when we promote the demo again. But yeah, if anyone has ever played Panel de Pawn, Pokemon Puzzle League, those kind of games, it's very much inspired by that. So, and also there's some visual novel elements. You get to romance folks or just be friends, whatever you want. Just a lot of hot characters.
Caught my interest.
Yeah. So that's been really cool to work on.
And when did you say that's releasing?
We don't have a release date yet, but I'm hoping that we'll be able to share something soon. That's one where we kickstarted about a year and a half ago, and we had a really successful Kickstarter, but it's the first time all of us have made a game together. And so there's been a lot of learning curve, just indie dev life. And so we were hoping, I think the original launch date was supposed to be last fall, I think was the original launch date. And then we realized we just needed more time to let everything marinate and actually have time to develop. And so we decided to just push it to this year. I can say it's coming out this year for sure. So just very excited to be able to announce the actual date, hopefully soon.
Second half of June. That's when we'll find out more. Oh my gosh. That's when
honestly,
we'll find out more.
This summer is going to be wild. I was looking at my schedule and I'm like, June is going to be so busy. And then, with I think TwitchCon is in July now, and that's going to be fun. And then August has Gamescom, and then at the tail end of August we always have PAX West. It's just going to be busy. So yeah, this summer is going to be exciting.
Now, if you need something to do in January, there's this thing called MagFest.
Oh my gosh, I've never been to a MagFest, and I've heard it's wonderful, and I've always wanted to go.
It is a weekend-long party. Jacob went once, said he'd never miss it again, hasn't gone since.
Yeah, I also ended up having kids.
Right. Excuses.
They kind of make one broke.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
sell
they
one.
can go without food for a few months. It's
you have two, sell one.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then I have to explain to that one, it's like, why you're not the favorite. That's just not...
I mean, they're going to be gone.
Explain that.
I'm not going to have.
They're going to be gone.
You don't have that they are your favorite. That's why you don't want them to have to be with you.
We love you. That's why you're sending you away to get the hell away from us.
Yep.
Your parents need to go to MagFest, kid. Sorry. Short straw.
You're putting a cramp on my style.
Yeah.
See, I just put my kids to work, and by kids, I mean cats. I mean,
I need to figure
people
out.
Give you money to feed them, so yes.
Yeah, right? They think they're
that's
cute.
What you need to do. There you go. Put your kids on camera and make people pay so they get fed. Then you save a lot of money.
That sounds like a bad idea in multiple ways.
Yeah.
So
I've never been known to have good ideas. I don't know why you expected anything less of me, but
yay, child labor.
Exactly. I mean, there are states in the U.S. that have brought it back.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh jeez.
There are. That's what is it like up as young as 12 they're allowing to work?
Yeah. I think so.
Oh my
it's
lord.
in Arkansas, right? I think.
I don't know. It's somewhere weird.
Yeah.
I love our world. It is so fun. Yeah, MagFest. We got to get you to I'm always telling people to go to MagFest. They have a great indie game section. A lot of cool games that you could maybe sign to Kepler while there, or one of your other endeavors. I think it'd be cool. But I think I asked all the boring questions. Here's a fun one. What is the dumbest question you've ever been asked working in PR?
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And just so you know, it will be topped at some point during this podcast.
Yeah, we'll do our best.
I can guarantee it.
I feel like the things that really stick out weren't even questions. They're people who message me and they're just like, I want to code to your game. And that's it. And I'm just like, but what? Do you understand? There's so much to unpack in that statement. And I've gotten this from different people too. So it's like someone for some reason is going around telling people that you can just message someone and just say, I want to code to your game. And that'll be like the magic key. But I'm like, I have multiple games I work on. Also, hi, could we just say hello for a second? I don't know. Introduce yourself.
That's why every email I lead off with hi. I think that's very important.
And I introduce myself. Yeah, pretty much.
There's just some niceties that I feel like we should still, I don't know. I'm old, so maybe this is me showing my age, but I'm like, we live in a society, folks. Please. So I think just when I get messages like that, when people are like, give me, and I'm like, sir,
hey,
what?
Give me free shit.
Oh my gosh.
You should just reply no and send.
Oh, yeah. There's some days where I do have a little bit of fun with that and say no and things like that. I try to be nice because I'm like, you never know. Maybe they just got taught wrong. I don't know. But I think that's really the biggest thing. Or when I'll send a message and I'll say, like, I try to usually like put bold, highlight, like put all the information up front. And if I say, like, for example, a game is coming out on PlayStation and Epic, and then someone says, but can I get an Xbox key? And I'm like, okay, please read, please. I just feel bad because I wish I could say yes, but I really only have these two things to give.
Yeah, reading is
I can't even
fundamental.
talk shit about, sadly, because I've requested keys for systems that they weren't owned by accident before. I can't even talk shit about that.
No, and that's what I usually try to, like, I give the benefit of the doubt normally, but it always cracks me up a little bit. But honestly, I've been quite lucky, and I don't know if it's because I have either, like, I'd like to think it's because I've cultivated a great group of folks around me, and I just have not had super, super negative or wild experiences. Like, I've heard stories, but that's really like as bad as it's gotten for me, which is, I mean, knock on wood. I hope no one uses this as an excuse to like really troll me, please.
Floodgates are open.
God, I know. I've just cursed myself. Damn.
Yep. At least you've cursed yourself.
Yeah. Well, I just know next time Joe messages me, it's just going to be absolutely wild.
No, I'm generally nice in my emails. I try to keep it professional. If someone has a fun company name, I'll be like, "Hey there, I love your company name." The craziest I think I get is we're the SML podcast, a gaming podcast that's been around for 10 years with way too many episodes to date. So that's as wild as my emails get. That's great. Sorry, people. I'm boring with my emails.
I've written a few that were fun. One of them, I was legitimately crying and was just like, "Oh my god, I read this interview, and if your game ever comes to Xbox, please." I just was so touched by all the things that you said. And then the other one I did more recently was this long, like, rambling fan thing about the game coming to my preferred console, and sent pictures of my cats because that was required.
Gosh. That's amazing.
My cat's playing the game with me, actually, on Steam. So but they're coming to. I was like, they're coming to Xbox. I need them. I need to show all of them things.
So yeah, instead of the what not to do, that's what you should do. Send pictures of cats. Like, send nice words. Oh my gosh, I have a folder on my desktop that's called Nice Words, and it's literally all the nice things people have sent me about either the games that we've worked on, or just like about they were happy that they got to collaborate with us or talk, and work with me and all that stuff. I've got a folder of that. So that's send awesome. Those emails. Those are nice. We don't get them often enough, I feel like.
Yeah, people need to be nicer in general.
Indeed.
There's too many dicks out there, like Jacob.
I was like, as soon as you started, I was like, I know where this quiet. Is going.
He hates all of us, and I understand.
It's justified.
I don't care, but I understand.
Oh man, Jenny, I know we've been chatting for a while. Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that we didn't bring up?
I mean, I'm really curious where it's maybe a little bit too far away for like the summer events, but because my brain is kind of already jumping ahead because that's just what we do in marketing. We plan months in advance for things. I'm curious, like, games that you're excited about, whether or not they're coming out in the summer or you're looking forward to an announcement, or if it's like, are we all on Tears of the Kingdom sort of hype right now? I'm curious about like what you all are hyped for.
I want to be excited for Zelda, but I don't know. I loved Breath of the Wild, but it just wore out its welcome with me after a while. It was too big, and I kind of just ran out of energy of like wanting to trudge across the world. It was beautiful, but going through the stamina and like, oh, I got to stop and eat some stuff while I'm clinging to a cliff. I don't know. I do want to give it a try. My I'm more excited. Like, I'm looking forward to Diablo. That Lego 2K Drive has my interest. I'm looking forward to that one. I am beyond thrilled that they're re-releasing Wheel of Katamari.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Katamari games. Now that I finally understand what they're about, I need them all.
You have meant those are the magic words. Katamari is maybe one of my favorite IPs in games. Like, we need all the Katamari. Oh my gosh, I love it so much.
I guess I'll play
That
Katamari
soundtrack.
music to end this show. That's an easy one.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Legitimately, I think one of the greatest game soundtracks of all time. So good and so weird. Oh man. I'm honestly, you've got me. I'm like, I'm going to play that after we sign off. I'm going to close out my night with Katamari.
It's good stuff. I'm glad it's kind of seeing resurgence. I hope we get a new game and not just remasters. We need more new stuff.
I've got 2 on the horizon for me that I'm pretty excited about. Sea of Stars, and if they launch on time, a Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes. So,
Ooh, yes.
yeah.
Shout out to Sea of Stars. It's actually, I'm also part of Kowloon, which is a game fund, and we actually are the ones that funded Sea of Stars. So it's like, I feel very special affinity towards it. And also I am like, I just want to play it so badly.
Well, and for me, Ayuden was the first thing I ever put in as a Kickstarter. I had to. I'm a huge Suikoden fan, so yeah, had to.
Oh, that's so cool. What an awesome first game to like kickstart.
Yeah.
I can't even remember my first Kickstarter. Aki, what game were you saying? I think I cut you off at the beginning there.
Games I'm looking forward to are Bramble the Mountain King, which just came out today, actually. Jedi Survivor, because I love those games. The first game I loved, and I really want that game. And I'm really looking forward to Lord of the Rings Golem.
Oh,
that's about as far into the future as I've looked. Any game that's after like the end of May, I don't know exists right now. I just focus like 2 months at a time, and then I'm just like, okay, this next month I want these games. There's too many.
I was looking forward to Atlas Fallen as well, but I think that got delayed until later in the year, didn't it?
I believe so, yeah.
As long as it's good when it comes out. Jacob, what about you? What are you looking forward to?
I have no clue what the heck is coming out on anything.
If there's another Disney game, he wants it.
No. That's the thing. It's like it's not even another Disney game, because I was discussing the reviews for Speedstorm with Joe earlier this week, and I'm glad I didn't drop the like $70 for the limited edition or ultimate edition, whatever the hell they want to call it.
No.
But yeah, like I have no idea, and I'm honestly like considering just like retiring from all this and just playing Disney Dreamlight Valley for the rest of my life.
You don't even understand. He talks about this every week for over a month, I think.
Serious. It's just like it's what I do now. I'm 38. Like,
and before it was Hot Wheels.
I stopped. Yeah,
he's like a 5-year-old.
Hot Wheels Unleashed broke my heart. And but it's just like, yeah, that's what I do now. I put my kids to bed, I fire up Disney Dreamlight Valley for a few hours, and that's it.
Yeah, see, Jacob regressed to like 5 or 8 years old. Hot Wheels.
It's not even
Disney,
that.
That's
it's
all
just
that
like it's
about.
an MMO experience without the assholes.
But
like
you're
that's
still
all
there.
the game is.
Yeah, you are the asshole in this circumstance.
I'm the only asshole.
Nice. What else? Nothing else. Just Disney.
No, I
Dreamlight.
said like literally that's all I do anymore.
Yeah, but like nothing. You don't do anything else but Disney Dreamlight.
I still play Super Mega Baseball 2. I've been playing that since I reviewed that back.
Why? Like, have you tried the show?
I own the last 2 versions of it, and I don't even think I fired it up.
You're a dork.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
As you can tell, we have an eclectic group of one serious loser and then the rest of us.
A bunch of weirdos here.
Wait, which one are you calling the serious loser? I mean,
yes.
I mean, who's the one who is obsessed with Hot Wheels and now just one specific Disney game, and that's it? And that's how they live their life.
Who else is insane about Gunpla?
That's really rude to call out Carnage like that.
I mean,
hey,
fair enough.
How
but
you want a game?
Scotty's
as long as you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
Get them achievements or trophies, whatever you like to do, right?
Everyone's into Gunpla. That's just...
I'm not.
Well, that's because you don't know what good is, okay?
God. Debatable.
Not really. Very not really.
Jenny, do you have any pets?
I do. I have 2 cats, and they are my life. I love them so much.
What are their names?
Scrambles and Rosie.
Scrambles.
Yeah, his full name is Scrambles the Death Dealer. If any of you have seen Metalocalypse, it's like, God, it was on Cartoon Network like way back in the day.
Yeah, Adult Swim.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So there's an episode where the band is asked to name a hurricane when they visit Florida. And I think it's Nathan Explosion who's just like, Scrambles the Death Dealer. And he's just like, that's a metal name for a hurricane. And we heard that and we were like, man, that would make an awesome name for like a pet. And so when we got first Rosie, but she was too, we got her and we were like, no, she's too much of a princess. She's like so dainty. She's going to be Rosie because she's got this cute rosy pink nose. And then we, a few years later, got Scrambles, and we got him as a kitten, and he just had Scrambles the Death Dealer energy. And he's the sweetest cat. He's just like very scrambled and anxious and jumpy, but like the most loving big linebacker of a cat. Oh, he's the best. So
it's amazing how pets eventually, like their names always seem to fit.
Yeah.
Yes, that's important.
Part of me wonders if we cursed him. We're like, what if we gave him a name like Calm Lad or something, and then he could be the calmest lad, but instead we named him Scrambles.
I mean, we have a Potato, and she's just kind of weird. She's a lump.
Oh my gosh, wait, is her name Potato?
Yes.
That is so cute.
We have a lot of weird names because we have a lot of cats.
Why don't you explain how many cats you have?
Yes, please tell me all about your cats.
You're going to be horrified here in a second. Go ahead. Joe. How many cats do you have? Go ahead.
14.
Oh my gosh, you're living my dream.
Is that just the inside ones?
Yeah, that's the
inside ones?
That's the inside cats.
How many outdoor cats do you have?
We don't count the outdoor cats.
Oh, bullshit. How many do you have?
No, we don't, because they just come and go. So we can't keep track of them. There's 3 that have been hanging out fairly regularly. So I guess you can consider them. And then there's one, Petunia, who's been hanging around.
Oh my God, Petunia.
For almost a year now, she's been hanging around our backyard. And just recently, in the past few weeks, she's been like peeking in our window more and more and more. I think she's picking us, and it scares us because we have fucking 14 cats. We don't need another one.
I mean, you don't need another one, but you'd like another one.
Yeah, we would.
Oh, you quite literally, if my partner Sam, if he didn't stop me, I would probably be the same. I would have all of the cats. Like, gosh, we've decided.
Luckily, we have a pretty big house, so that's good.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, 14.
Yay, cats.
Bree, how many do you have?
Cats too?
I do. I have 2, and I also have a porch cat now. Her name is Callie. She has also been looking in our window. Funny story, the other human and Dirham, my void cat, were hanging out watching cat TV in the window, and you know, the other human got down to like check out the cat TV, like, what's going on? What's good? Tell me, what's that? What's that over there? And then out of nowhere, Callie like jumps up and screams in the window and then like tears off, and they both like had a heart attack.
Fall into the abyss.
Yeah.
My gaping butthole.
But she just sits on my porch chair every time I come and go, and she's still like, she's pretty friendly, like neighborhood cat, but she's apparently chosen our porch. And I think she's got a thing for Dirham, so yeah.
It's good. Funny. We have one of our outdoors is Callie too.
Yeah.
So it's a common name, I guess. Shout out to Dopey for dropping by with 25 viewers coming in, rating us. I'm sorry to disappoint all of you, but it's a bad show. It's just awful. Jacob's here.
I'm sorry. I'll leave.
Yeah.
But we're talking about cats and plushies, so it's
on
been
the
fun.
bright side,
Yeah,
Jenny Windom
can't really
of
go
Kepler
wrong.
is here, also known as kimchica. When you stream, tell us more about your streaming.
Yeah. I started primarily like as an indie game streamer, and this was I'm dating myself. This is back in the day before indies were like a thing, really. Like they weren't really popular. People just didn't know about it in the way they do now. And so I started by creating content around just indie games. It's evolved a bit more now. I focus a bit more on I would say generally cozy games, but more games that have intriguing mechanics to me, or they have themes that I think are worth like diving into and maybe talking a bit more about on stream. So I really enjoy games like that mashup genres, like Cult of the Lamb, I think was wonderful because of how it just mashed up some really disparate sounding dramas or genres. I really, again, Dredge is interesting because it's got like fishing, but it's also horror and it's kind of cozy, but not really. And I do love a good Metroidvania. Oh my God, Hollow Knight, please. Like, I can talk about Hollow Knight forever. Outer Wilds. So like really just indie games, just very, very fun. And through my channel, what I've always wanted to do, and I think I've always kind of been apprehensive about, but this year I'm starting to lean more into, is trying to facilitate more conversations around games versus just playing them. And so I started a game club called Geeks and Grounds, and it's basically just like we play one game together as a community every month, and then at the end of the month we talk about it, but it's also a newsletter. So I've found that folks tend to not want to like, you know, it's like hard to always meet up, or it's hard to like feel comfortable talking in Discord or in a forum. Because if you're not super comfortable, if you're new, or if you just don't have the time, if you've got kids, for example, like you all have mentioned, it's tough. And so I was like, well, what if it was a game club but newsletter? So you can like engage however you want. And then if you come at the end of the month to the hangout, great. And if not, you still got some good questions to think about and fun resources to read and listen to. So yeah, I've been working on that and it's been really fun. I used to be a teacher, and so that has not left my soul. And so basically it's me being like lit circles, but newsletter style and with video games. So that's been very fun to do. We're playing Bug Snacks this month. We're actually our hangouts on Saturday. And then haven't announced the game for next month yet, but we'll be doing that next week. So that'll be cool.
I reviewed that. That was a good game.
Yeah, I have been super impressed by Bug Snacks. I was late to it. I never got the chance to play it when it launched, and I'm so happy that we did it for the club this month. Yeah, and Root is also in the club. It's very, very fun.
Yeah, Root Beer's an awesome person. That they've been hanging out for so long. Always good seeing them here. When I dropped by your channel and they were there, I was like, yes. Someone familiar. What are some other games you've highlighted through the club?
We played A Space for the Unbound 2 months ago. That, honestly, if anyone is looking for a game to play that's relatively short, is about, I would say, 6 to 8 hours, depending on how fast you click through the dialogue. It's by Mojang Studio and Toge Productions, which they're the folks who did like Coffee Talk. So if you like that kind of game, like narrative, very thoughtful and introspective, oh my God, Space to the Unbound. Play it, or A Space for the Unbound. It's maybe up there for Game of the Year for me, which is really fascinating because it's more of like an adventure game and very narrative heavy, which I normally don't gravitate to. I really like stories, but I don't like solid like narrative games. I feel like sometimes they're a bit too dense for me and just a lot of reading, and I want to just like do something actionable. But this one was so flippin' good. Like, by the end I was ugly crying. It was a ride. It was very, very good. So I'd highly recommend A Space for the Unbound.
I'll have to check that one out.
It's on my wish list.
Yeah, it's great. It starts slice of life style. You play as this teenager, and you're just going to school, and weird things start to happen. Powers start to manifest, and it turns from like a slice of life manga to, oh my gosh, I think we're maybe doing some sort of like psychological, not horror, but like what's the word? It's like kind of Inception vibes where you're just like, there's a dream within a dream, or I don't know if it's real. Maybe it is. It's very, very cool.
One of my kitties came to visit.
Hi, kitty. Oh my gosh.
That was Coltrane.
Coltrane.
Her full name is Coltrane runs on whole grain baby Woo Kamisa.
So I have to ask, what is your strategy for naming your cats? Because I'm someone who, whenever I name any animal, whether it's in Harvest Moon or like real life, usually it's food based in some way. Rosie and Scrambles are kind of an exception, but food is a big thing for me.
Our first was Noodle. We lost him about a decade ago, but we still love him. I still have an emote for him, and we called him Kitty, but his official name was Noodle. And then we got Piddles, so that's not food. Peaches, that is food. Coltrane, not food, but she runs on whole grain, which is food. Then we got Punk, who's named after CM Punk, the wrestler. And then we got Potato. So we were at 5, and we were good with 5 because we lost Kitty by then. And then my mom found a bunch of strays by her house. Their mom had been taken to the vet and had a hook in her mouth, fishing hook. And the vet never mentioned that there were kittens. So my mom didn't find out until a few days later when she heard the meowing. My mom was supposed to take one. One of my wife's coworkers was going to take one, and we were going to take one. So we got 3 cats. They all came to us. That was Pork, Bean, and Predator. So 2 foods, 1 non-food. After that, we got Pickle at my niece's birthday party. Just another random stray that we found. We named him Pickle. He's a weirdo. And then we have Mama. She's called Mama because she gave birth to 3 kittens on our back porch that we tried to find homes for, and surprise, we didn't. So that was Peanut Butter and Jelly.
Oh my gosh, that's cute.
3 kittens, Peanut Butter and Jelly. And then the most recent one is Simon with a P, because we have so many other cats with P names that we went Simon, P-S-I-M-O-N.
I started making a special toy just for Simon, like last night. I'm not even joking.
That's beautiful.
It's a pie.
Oh, jeez.
Cute.
Yeah, so there's the story of my kitties. That's all of them. And now Petunia might be number 15. Who knows? Let's take a vote. Who says Petunia should be number 15? Vote now in chat.
Yes.
Jacob's allergies say no.
Well, your allergies aren't going to get any worse.
Wait, so you're allergic?
They will get worse. No, they will get worse. They won't get better. That's what you're trying to say.
I am sad for people who are allergic to pets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're
Good job,
out.
Jacob.
I don't know what I'm supposed to do about that.
Man. Anyway, Jenny, I know we've been chatting for quite a while. We do have to wrap this up and move on. We have news to chat about. Did you want to stick around and chat news with us, or did you want to head out?
Happy to chat news with you if you'd like to have me.
Yeah, I don't have too much news, thankfully. I know Bree has to get going as well. Just a few tiny things. PlayStation Plus and Games with Gold lineups were announced for May. Xbox is phoning it in once again with Hoa and Star Wars Racer Episode 1. Jacob, you're probably excited for that one, aren't you?
It's Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Fucking noob.
Shut up. PS
Anyways,
Plus.
I already have it. It's a solid port of the original game. Like, I recommend it. Yeah, so it's a really good title. So, like, this is not one to snooze on.
And if you do, it's only $15, so it's not an expensive one. PlayStation is bringing out some big ones, though, with Grid Legends, Chivalry 2, and Descenders. So pretty solid lineup over there.
Okay.
No comments from anyone?
I wasn't comments really about Episode 1.
Aki, chime in, damn it.
I wasn't really paying attention. I'm sorry.
Ouch.
I'm sure this will get your attention. The UK have blocked the Microsoft and Activision deal. Microsoft is appealing the decision. What is everybody's thoughts on this recent development?
Sony 100% paid them. Because one of their primary things was, this is going to stifle the growing of cloud gaming, which Microsoft is like 90% of already, and has been the majority person of the entire time. This is going to stifle that.
The funniest part is, isn't Sony doing their cloud tech through Microsoft?
Yes. That's because Microsoft built it. So none of this makes any fucking sense. So it was clearly paid off by Sony. I refuse to believe anything else, because that's just ridiculous. You can't be like, well, this isn't good for this thing that the company that's trying to get this made themselves. No, that would make it good for it, because it's definitely going to be on it.
You lost me with that one. I don't know. Fine. Anyway, Bree, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I just kind of want this to be finalized so that we can move on with our lives one way or another. Yeah. And I think that people are being really foolish for denying it. But, I mean, whatever.
I would really like to know, what exactly would the UK do if Microsoft just said, fuck it, we're buying them anyways. It's not like the UK is going to kick them out, because they make money off of Microsoft.
I don't know what could be, like, if Microsoft were to just ignore it and do it anyway, what penalties would they face? Like, I don't.
Apparently, it would be a
monetary
$3 million.
Like they could be prevented from selling their wares in the UK.
The thing is, if they were prevented from that, I think Microsoft would be like, okay, UK as a whole, you can't use our tech anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the government doesn't know what to do.
The government then just moves to Mac.
Yeah, okay.
Sure, that's gonna happen.
Everybody gets a penguin box.
The UK government runs on Android now. Just side load whatever app you need. Make sure you don't get a virus.
Just this is something I asked indie gamer chick myself, is what would happen if they just said fuck it and bought it anyways, and I haven't gotten a reply yet. So I'm like, if I were Microsoft, I'd just say fuck it, because apparently what would happen is a $3 million fine and maybe something else, but like, Microsoft just off of Game Pass sales makes about $3 billion a year. I'd be like, I'll eat that $3 million fine. I don't care. Because I was like, there's no way the UK is just going to be like, well, then Microsoft, you can't sell stuff here. Like 90% of their computers are Microsoft.
I mean, they could prevent like the gaming stuff.
No.
I don't see that working well for them.
Yeah, everything is so very integrated nowadays. Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Jenny, what are your thoughts on the decision? Do you think it was a smart move to deny it, or do you think Microsoft's right in appealing it?
I mean, to be really honest, like I'm kind of like in the same place as Bree, where I'm like, I just want it to be done so we can kind of move on.
Just fucking end already.
Yeah, and especially I think what's tough is I also am just unsure, like you are all asking, is like, what happens if they choose to ignore it, which I think is very low. Like that would be just bad for them to just say, fuck it, like let's ignore it. I don't think that will happen. I'm curious, like if they decide, if the UK decides like that it's not a go, like basically I'm wondering, what does that mean for other regulatory agencies, like other places? Like if the UK doesn't say it's a go, then does the US anything change there, or like what even happens at that point? And so I just don't know enough about acquisitions, honestly, to know what to make of a lot of it. I think it's frustrating that it seems like for me at least, the whole thing is like the cloud gaming component, which I think doesn't quite make sense to me, like why they're focusing on that. But again, I don't know enough about the business to really, I don't participate. I don't play Blizzard games. I don't play a ton of like, I know they focus a lot on like Call of Duty and like all of the Xbox Microsoft titles. And I actually only just got an Xbox. So I'm like, finally, I'm just dipping my toes into the ecosystem. So I'm like not even very familiar with enough of that ecosystem to understand a lot of the implications. There was a really cool article though, for folks who may want more information. I don't know if it's okay for me to link things in chat or if I have to like pass it through to someone.
It's fine.
But Game Industry Biz, I bookmarked it. And actually, as you mentioned it, I was like, let me find the article because I haven't read it yet. But the article that gamesindustry.biz did, kind of recapping everything, looked like it was pretty informative. Again, I haven't read it, so maybe it's not. But I'm hoping to go over that and just like try to learn for myself what's going on because it is a very big deal.
Yeah.
I just don't know enough to know how and why I should like really pay attention to it, which feels kind of silly to say, but yeah.
If it does get shut down completely, what is Microsoft's next step? What do they do? How do they, I don't want to say retaliate, but in a way that's what they would have to do. What can Microsoft do to jump back from this?
Oh, I think they'd absolutely demolish the concept of PlayStation and Square Enix. They're going to go.
What?
They're pointing out how they're paying to make sure it's not on their system, which is effectively buying the fucking thing.
Okay,
and you're
but
like, I'm
so
buying.
what is that going to do?
Yeah, what? I mean, if Square doesn't want to put stuff on Xbox,
Yeah.
See, I
like
think
they're-
Square does.
do you?
I still want to point back to that message that they put out a couple months ago saying that it's no longer sustainable for us to be like isolated to this one small corner of the market, and for the future of our company we need to diversify and expand. And I don't think that was just about NFTs. I think that the other things that they were saying in that statement were about how they have been stuck. And I think that some of what we're seeing is related to this entire case about how things are being withheld from specifically Xbox. And I think that these are old deals that we just have to ride out before we can finally get that stuff to move over. I think that they want to diversify and move out into other places, but they are being held back by old deals.
What about today? A tweet kind of went viral from Sunil, who is a senior or a social media manager for Square Enix Japan titles, who tweeted out, quote, UK regulators won't block your acquisition of Live Alive, out today on PS5, PS4, and Steam.
Yeah.
That's
the UK
like a
isn't
big
blocking it.
fuck you
He
to
is.
Xbox.
Is it?
Yeah.
That's-
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, that sounds like a giant fuck you from Square to Xbox, and I
Maybe.
think that's a bad look. Whether that's something Square approved or they didn't approve, I think that's a really bad look for them.
Well, definitely.
I don't know. It's gonna be a weird situation. My thoughts is, if I were Microsoft and I wanted to find something to do to kind of get back, is look into hostile takeovers. Like, take over Sony, invest in Sony, buy them.
Well, I think, wouldn't that be more of a problem though, right? Because isn't the core issue is they're worried that Microsoft is becoming too much of a monopoly. So I think in terms of like more acquisition, that's probably like I think, and again, I
think if they started small and worked their way up, maybe it would work. I mean, we saw, who was it Vivendi tried taking over Ubisoft, and that failed. Maybe Microsoft could be like, we want you, and we're going to work around you to conquer you and take you. Whether they do it to someone like Square, Capcom, Sega, Ubisoft, I'd say Embracer, but Embracer owns half the world anyway.
They might be the Illuminati.
They might be.
Yeah, that's kind of what I always think back to is, why is it wrong for Microsoft when Embracer owns just so much shit?
Because everyone knows Microsoft's name and nobody remembers Embracers.
Yeah.
Like, that's how Embracer is how a real conglomerate should operate. Like, you don't fucking know who Embracer is. Like, no, I'm being serious. Like, that's ideally how they work. You know the companies that they own, but you don't know them. Like, it's smart.
No. Root Beer saying Microsoft will sell off Xbox because they're focusing on AI. I don't know if that's going to happen. I think they've put too many of their apples in the Xbox basket to pull the plug now, but Google and Stadia were a thing, so you never know. I don't know. Yeah, Jacob, do you have any news? Anything on your end?
I don't think so. Let me check the Facebook page.
Aki, anything from you?
Yes. It's not completely video game based, but it is game based. Wizards of the Coast decided to send the Pinkertons after a guy because of a pack of Magic the Gathering cards that he bought legally from a store. The store gave him the wrong pack of cards, and it was a pack that was releasing in 2 weeks. So they sent the Pinkertons after him to threaten and bully him to get the cards back.
Jeez.
Yikes.
Yeah. And I believe he's planning on suing now.
I would, yes.
I don't know how well that's going to go for him, but because he might disappear with that. You know, his car might have an accident.
MTG is just dangerous set of letters these days.
And what's worse is Wizards of the Coast, they didn't even contact him or anything. He made, obviously, after he saw, these are cards that aren't out yet, obviously he made a YouTube video. They could have illegally, DMCA'd the thing. They could have called him and talked to him. No, they just straight up sent the Pinkertons. That was their first and only thing they did.
Wow.
And then they called him afterwards, after the Pinkertons had taken the stuff and obviously gotten it back to them. They called and were super polite to the guy at that point. And I'm like, you guys are such sex shit. And like, they're Wizards of the Coast, like, is just more and more evil. Just as this year goes on, they're getting more and more evil already. What the hell?
Gotta love it.
Oh, it makes me sad.
Jacob, you find anything yet?
Nah.
No. Bree, any news on your end?
Not really. I mean, the only thing I think I had on my radar was the deal, getting turned down officially. So, yeah.
Yeah, that was the big thing in news this week. So, Jenny, any news on your end?
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw it just a couple hours ago. So this is like very fresh, hot off the press. But Waypoint is shutting down. Apparently Vice is saying, I think June, like the start of June, Waypoint is going to be done. So no more Waypoint articles, podcasts, none of that.
Oh, wow.
That's huge. I'm very sad to hear that, because Waypoint genuinely was one of my favorite places to go and read about games. And like the writers always made really, I think, thoughtful content, just around what it's like to engage with games. So that's going to be pretty rough. And I think that's really not great for the industry that happened.
No.
So,
wow. Yeah, I didn't hear about that.
Look more into that, yeah.
Sadly, I'm not familiar with them, so
yeah, I'm familiar with Vice. But yeah, I would not have even thought that was a thing that would just go away.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's been really, really interesting to see just like games journalists. I mean, it's always been such a risky job to have and a thankless job to have. Anyone who covers games or reviews games in that sort of journalist setting. And I feel like seeing Waypoint go down, where it was definitely one of, I think, the top tier places to go for games crit, is just not a great sign, especially from a places like Vice, which is one of the more recognizable, and you would assume maybe a bit better funded, or at least has more stability.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, thankfully, the SML podcast is still here to bring you news every week. And interviews and reviews.
At least for now, anyways.
Yeah, until I get sick of these assholes, then I'm fucking out of here. Jenny, we do have to wrap this up. We have reviews we got to take care of. Thank you so much for joining us and hanging out with us. You got to come back when you're able to talk more about all the good Kepler stuff.
Yeah, very excited to come back and be able to share actual news. And thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, now you've heard what we're all about. What do you think? Do you regret working with us yet?
You should.
Not at all. Gosh. Well, I mean, now I'm getting pressure on both sides, to answer a certain way. But yeah, really appreciate all allowing me to join in, take part, and talk plushies and cats and games.
Absolutely. And I didn't even mention my Goat Sim plush. How did I forget that one?
My goodness.
I don't know, because you were really obsessed with that.
I know.
With getting that.
Yeah, and even after I mentioned the Gengar tongue, and you didn't take the opportunity to run with that long goat tongue. I mean, I'm so jealous.
I'm showing it off on stream now, and Simon is attacking my arm. What the hell do you want? Weird ass cats.
Look at its tongue. I love Thulgor's tongue. All right.
Jenny, where can people keep up to date with you and what you're doing?
Folks can find me here on Twitch at kimchica, and also on TikTok and YouTube at kimchica. Pretty easy to find me. If you like doing Instagram, because who knows what happens to other platforms, you can find me at jenny.windom. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
Oh.
And Mr. Fry. Okay.
Jacob, you couldn't just say that.
Jacob. Oh. Jacob said you can call her at 867-5309, which, as a side note, was maybe the number one pickup line that people would try on me when I worked at Hollywood Videos back in the day when Hollywood Videos was the thing for all you young folks.
Yeah.
It's where you rented DVDs and VHS tapes.
Yeah.
I'm just so bummed because this is episode 868.
Ah.
Yeah.
Damn.
One off.
Damn.
Yeah.
The bitch.
Take down the previous episode.
Yeah, that one doesn't exist anymore.
Sorry, Grant. Yeah, Jenny, thank you again so much for coming on, hanging out with us. We're going to let you get going. Do you have any final words before you hop off?
Nope, that is it. I guess just to plug it, because I am very excited and proud of it, geeksandgrounds.com. If you want to join a game club and talk about games and do it asynchronously through a newsletter, so it's no pressure or low pressure, please check it out.
And we will have a link to that in the description below the video. So click on that and check it out.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all.
Cool. Have yourself a good night.
All right. Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, review. Should we get to these? Because Bree's probably like, I have to get the fuck out of here.
Well, I'm having a good time at least. So, but I do have to, go do my thing. So
yeah. So let's dive into these reviews.
Got a wasp queen to kill.
First games to talk about tonight are Teslagrad Remastered and Teslagrad 2, both developed by Rain Games, published by Modus Games. Teslagrad released on the 19th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $9.99. Teslagrad 2 released April 19th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $19.99. I would read the descriptions, but Bree, you're going to talk about both of them. So just tell us about the games.
I mean, yeah. So first off, thank you for kind of allowing me to put both of these together, because what I did is I played them concurrently, meaning at the same time, where I kind of went back and forth between them. I had never played Teslagrad when it originally came out. And I say originally, I mean, it's had a couple iterations now, I think since 2013. And it's even had like an Xbox One version that I somehow missed out on. There might have even been a mobile version or something at some point. And I think the other thing that I heard in kind of reading about this is that Teslagrad 2 was supposed to come out a few years ago, or at least it was announced, and we thought it was going to come out sooner. And so. It's had a little bit of extra time to get there, but like it's 10 years is kind of a nice little bookend for that, which I think is really great. But yeah, so the original Teslagrad is they're both puzzle platformers with Metroidvania elements, or however you want to put it. It's all of those things. Very, very heavy on the puzzle aspect to the platforming in a very, very good way. I would say one of the other big things to note about the series is that they do storytelling in a way that is not about dialogue. It is not about cutscenes, although there's like little minor, splash page kind of moments that you have going into, say, a boss fight or something, which I say fight. It's kind of hard to explain because you're if you're familiar with the games that are not as much about fighting, like you're not aiming to maim the enemy or kill them with a weapon as much as you are using your environment and your puzzle solving skills and the mechanics available to you. That's what I mean by boss fight here. But the storytelling is done through the environmental. So very good immersion style game, which, I'm very big on immersion, where like the background art is a character, is telling part of the story. The music is telling part of the story. They're all very carefully considered and crafted, and there's so many little details in the background of the art going on, which is all hand drawn. The animations for characters and monsters and little things going on have this look to them like they are old, hand-drawn animations. Like, honestly, there's some of the stuff in Teslagrad too. It took me a while to really put together what it was, but there's these Draugr that they kind of animate themselves. The spirit part brings the corpses to life. And it's brought to life with electricity because, of course, Tesla, right? But it looks like the John Bluth animations from, like, Dragon's Lair. And so then I started to realize how much whatever that filter or their animation style that they're doing kind of has that across both games. And it's refined more in the sequel. But it's just, all of these beautiful, beautiful art, whether it's a background or it's a character or an enemy or even just like a little lightning trap that you're going to have to try and puzzle your way across in your platforming, is all just beautifully animated and designed. And they are all part of that story. And in this, so like thematically speaking, Teslagrad, obviously we've got like this kind of Russian idea, right? You have these Teslamancers, these like techno mages essentially, and they have the Tesla Tower, and the king of the kingdom that's like Electrotopia or something. He's kind of a tyrant, and he doesn't like what the Teslamancers are doing, and ultimately like tears down their tower. And so you're kind of going into the ruins of this as a kid who's escaped goodness knows what initially, and you're sort of picking up on this technology and finding all of these things, and you have to solve all of these puzzles to kind of find your way back home to safety, whatever you want to call it. And the stuff is so creative. I feel like I'm like all over the place here, like as to where to go, but
that's okay. Simon's all over my lap right now. He's just crawling everywhere.
But so you have this, very steampunk kind of thing going on. But in the first game, you see this like Rus Viking kind of style stuff in the background, and you can see this art of what happened before. And so you have this idea of like this high tech kind of stuff mixed with kings and medieval sort of things, and it's just a really lovely blend of fantasy and technology. Also kind of leaning on, the steampunk side, but not in the same as like the generic steampunk kind of thing. It really is its own thing. And you have these like technological monsters that come to life. I think like the first boss that you run into in Teslagrad is this like flame steam powered like big maw that's trying to eat boxes, and you have to, dodge your way around things and throw some boxes into it. And so the first one is really much more on that modern steam technology of the machines that are being built that are the more modern side of things, in this Teslamancy sort of stuff. But you see little hints to the more like archaic or Viking, style art, and that there is this other connection. And so 10 years later, we get a sequel, and it is all about this,
that base.
Yeah, and so they actually in the description for the game, they call it the world's first Scandinavania. It's a Scandinavian-based Metroidvania, right? So it's really about this Nordic folk stuff, which a lot of us refer to as Viking, which I could argue about that, but we don't have time for that. But it was neat, especially playing both of these games kind of at the same time, to see how much they had kind of planned in this bigger world when they made this game 10 years ago, and now they finally get to see this envisionment, come to life of this heavily, Nordic, folk, Viking style stuff come to life. And again, with the art in the background of how they blend these things together, you have these stave churches and longboats that are airships. And just, this mix of the technology, and you'd have these beautiful Viking wood carvings that parts of them have riveted bits of metal over the design to make it really stand out. And so you just have this really lovely blend of all of those things telling the story. And then in Teslagrad 2, the music is amazing. Like, just even if the game doesn't look like your thing, go check out the soundtrack. I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I've got to find it. And it is like, if you guys remember, there was all this stuff done for Senua's Sacrifice, Hellblade, about the sequel coming up, and they had that whole Viking metal chant kind of thing going on. Like, imagine like a prettier version of that, but it's got that same kind of vibe in certain places, which is just really great. You get into these action sequences, like I mentioned, the puzzle bosses, which, oh my gosh, epic. They really leaned into the mythology, and this is the other element, where I said they're blending the technology with the fantasy, where in Teslagrad 2, instead of fighting these mechanical monsters or, mechanics that have turned into monsters, you're really dealing with more these mythological creatures and monsters that are your big kind of boss mechanics. And this was a big mythology point for me because I do this with my medieval life. I do a lot of Viking. I keep saying Viking, and I'm doing air quotes because, of course, that's a verb and not a descriptor of a people and a culture. But you have the mythology of the Poetic Edda is kind of going into this, where you have the Sigurd and the snake. And even there's a Viking stave church, these wood carved beautiful things in it, and there's a panel from that poem about the Volsung family who takes on the worm Fafnir, the snake, right, the big world snake, and he's this giant. In the carving, it shows the snake is so gigantic and it's tangled up, and there's Sigurd down there just with his music instrument and his sword, just trying to figure out how best he can survive. And I've got this image in my mind, and that is what was on the screen in the game during this fight that you have with Fafnir. And it is so freaking cool. I just love that entire sequence so much. And so, yeah, we've got this other kingdom. Even the very beginning of the game in Teslagrad 2 is reminiscent of the beginning of the original game, where you have this, young hero. In this case, in Teslagrad 2, we have a young lady with brilliant red hair. And she's running from these people, these Vikings in airships, longboat airships. But in the beginning of the first game, you start out running away from the sort of villain chasing the young man who's maybe absconded with something, or is, in a place he's not supposed to be, and he keeps going, and eventually he finds a pair of boots or a glove or something. I forget which he finds first. And starts building up his abilities. And in the second one, it starts out she already has the boots, but she loses one of them in a fall in the middle of this, and she grabs her boot in this just very yep, I'm putting these back on. And as soon as she's got the second boot, we find out that we have a very familiar dashing power that we use as a major mechanic throughout both games. But it was interesting to see how they kind of took that story of something familiar and translated it into something new, while allowing us to skip a couple of steps to go, oh, okay, so she's already involved in this world and she kind of knows what she's doing. Let's get down to business. And it is, the sequel is so good. Everything that they had that was good about the original game is refined and embellished on in beautiful, beautiful ways. The puzzles are more fluid, some of them more challenging. The boss fights were so much more epic to me. And as far as a remaster goes, again, I didn't play the original game. I've gone and looked at some old footage, and you can see that the remaster edition of Teslagrad definitely has some improved things. And seeing some people's videos, I can tell where some of the game elements are maybe a bit more fluid. They made some minor tweaks to certain things. But I mean, otherwise, it is a preserved version that you can get. And lovely enough, they put it as a bundle. So if you're like looking to get the new game and you're like, hey, it's been 10 years since I played the original, let's just go ahead and, put this together as a package, which I thought was really nice. And for someone like me coming at the game brand new, it was nice to be able to go through that. So
also nice is the fact that No Time for Games just resubbed for the 46th month. That is insanity. Can't believe I've been streaming on Twitch that long. And to think, we left for how long to go over to Mixer, and then we came back, and man, I'm old. Teslagrad Remastered is $10. What are your thoughts on that one?
If you're new to the series, it's a great place to start. I think it played very, very well. I would say go for it. And if you're already a fan and you're going to play Teslagrad 2, like I said, it's a great way to refresh yourself with the story and see some of those connections right next to each other. Especially if you finish the original. Sometimes it's nice, especially on Xbox. You go back, you get some more, gamer score for doing the same things you already know and love. So yeah, I would definitely say it's a great price for that too. So.
Yeah, I was pretty excited to see the remaster's only $10. The new one, Teslagrad 2, is $20. What are your thoughts there?
Absolutely. One, it's a great price. Two, it's just a great game. Again, I'm coming at this fresh and brand new, and I kept kind of flipping back and forth. I get to a point in the first one where I'm struggling with a mechanic. I would switch over and play a bunch on the second one and kind of flip back and forth that way. And I gotta say, they did a really great job of preserving a world, creating something that you can play them back to back, and it doesn't feel like it's too much or too little or whatever. It's just a great game.
Cool.
I'm looking forward to finding all the little stuff in it. They have an encoded story throughout that you find on the walls, and it's written in their own sort of special runes that are transliterated or something. And I can't wait I've been taking pictures of them, and I can't wait to translate all of them. Super secret, awesome stuff. So
nice.
Yeah,
You'll
definitely
have to
a buy
keep
it
us
for me.
Updated on that and tell us about what the little Easter eggs all about. Drink your Ovaltine,
Absolutely.
right, kids? Everyone knows that reference, right, kids?
Totally.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
You don't know
Bullshit.
it,
You've
Aki?
never seen.
No.
You've never seen A Christmas Story.
I probably have. That's the one where he shoots himself in the face with a BB gun or something, right?
What the hell are you watching now?
I'm not. I'm playing a video game. Sorry. Again, professionalism. I am so professional. You know this.
Bree, thank you so much for coming on, hanging out with us, doing your thing. We will let you get going so you could start your own stream 45 minutes late.
I know. It's okay. I'm pretty sure my crew is already in there doing the grounded thing, so we'll just get on that. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I will see you guys later.
Have yourself a good one.
Night.
All right, bye-bye.
B.
All right, next up is Minecraft Legends, developed by Mojang Studios and Blackbird Interactive, published by Xbox Game Studios, released April 18th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $39.99. Also available as part of Xbox Game Pass, the Piglin's nether corruption is spreading across the overworld, scorching everything it touches. Are you the hero who will protect this gentle land? Plan your strategy and face the Piglins in epic battles, but be warned, they always fight back. Our friend Andy Sperry covered this one, wrote in a review, and because I'm losing my voice, I can't wait to read this one. Oh, let me take a drink quick. Jacob is really stupid. Really stupid. Okay, we're good. Minecraft Legends by Mojang Studios and Blackbird Interactive is the newest game spawned from the Minecraft franchise and offers a new and exciting take on the action RTS genre. At the first glance, players will notice a vibrant landscape full of different biomes, colorful creatures, and towns. The gorgeous landscapes seem to go on forever and bring a sense of familiarity within the world made up entirely of blocks. Minecraft Legends stays true to stylized art and does a fantastic job at creating a world both familiar and new. The world in Minecraft, or the world map in Minecraft Legends, is procedurally generated and offers a different layout for each playthrough with resources, allies, and secrets to uncover. The story of Minecraft Legends is simple enough. Evil piglin armies are invading from the nether, and it's up to the player to rally an army to destroy them. The story elements are explained through intermittent cutscenes, but that's the gist of it. Along the way, the player must gather resources, uncover new areas of the map to allow for easy transportation between settlements. Using the resources gathered, the player can build walls and arrow towers to defend a village, spawn golems to attack invading piglins, or add structures like the architect hut to repair buildings. Those are just a few of the many amazing things possible in the game. Gathering resources is easy. The player uses a set of creatures called the allies, allays maybe, which are simply set out near a selected resource. Then they gather all the available resources within the perimeter. More advanced structures require rarer resources. Wow, a lot of R's in a row. Christ. More advanced structures require rarer resources like redstone and time it aside from the basics of wood and stone. Resources
I'm so glad you're reading this.
Bree should have stuck around and done this for me anyway. Resources are also used in upgrades like new structures, the army size you're allowed to command, and the ability to store more resources. Gratefully, the map system informs the player of the resources available within the different biomes. Allays are used for building and permitting the player has enough of a specific resource, which is tracked on the screen, are just as easy to build with the user-friendly construction process that only requires a few controller clicks. Battle system in Minecraft Legends is just as simplistic as everything else in the game, but the idea of strategy is still important. The main character is always on a mount, like a tiger, beetle, horse, or bird, each with different movement abilities, and wields a wide-swinging sword. Using allies such as skeleton archers, zombies, or creepers are important in bringing the piglin bases down. Spawning your own set of allies, such as the heavy-hitting stone golem or the arrow golem for long-range attacks, is important too. Control of these units boiled down to stay here and fight or go over there and fight. Commands to bring down structures and destroy the bases. Manageable army sizes are kept low and can be upgraded. This comes with both ease of management and challenges in overrunning the piglin bases. Telling an army to invade works well when within a... why are my cord falling? Shit. I'm doing good this review. I need another drink. Fuck it. Jacob, say something stupid.
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Oh, God. Telling an army to invade works well when on a level playing field. For multi-tiered terrain, a player can use buildable stairs or bridges to help armies cross quickly over obstacles or up to plateaus. However, this would usually pose a risk to allied forces falling off due to suspect pathfinding along the way. This, along with the possibility that your forces will sit in place after destroying a structure of the base, made the game occasionally more of a struggle in the simple commands and design. More autonomy would be nice in any future updates. Piglins are active the entire game and continue to invade settlements and build their own fortifications while the player's out exploring or gathering resources. This meant the game was always active and in turn kept up with the player awareness and engagement across the map. Invasions on friendly settlements happen more or less often depending on the difficulty rating and generally during the night cycle, giving the player time to fortify settlements. Towards the end of the game, enemy encampments grew quite large, which was fun for more engaging battles and presented a much more challenging experience to the 5 to 10 minute battles presented early on. Though challenging, it was nice to explore a more advanced side to the real-time strategy within the game. This review is covered from the solo player experience, but Minecraft Legends also features a multiplayer mode for those looking to take on the piglin army with friends or even wage a friendly battle amongst themselves. Shared resources, procedurally generated map, and player autonomy makes each experience new and exciting. Whether in a multiplayer or solo experience, new play style strategies come with each playthrough. Overall, Minecraft Legend keeps the classic world of Minecraft intact while implementing some clever ways to present an engaging strategy game to a new generation or to those familiar with the genre already. The simplistic approach allows for easy, understandable gameplay, and while this does take away from the more advanced planning and strategy side of the game, it's still fun and engaging for all audiences. I'd recommend picking this up if you're interested in the RTS genre, are a fan of previous Minecraft games, or if you have Game Pass, as it's available for download. Aside from those familiar, why not try it out and experience the fun for yourself? At the end of it all, the game is very much worthwhile. Thanks for reading. Thank you, Andy, for writing in a review. I'm excited to check that one out myself. So, Jacob, were you going to pick that one up at all? Is he still pooping?
I think so.
good thing you're next. Next game to talk about is Afterimage, developed by Aurogon Soft. No, wait. Can't read because little red squigglies there. Stupid thing. Next game to talk about is Afterimage, developed by Aurogon Shanghai, published by Modus Games, released April 25th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, PS5, and PC for $24.99. Afterimage is a hand-drawn 2D action-adventure that emphasizes fast-paced combat with diversified character builds, non-linear levels, and a gripping story set in the ruins of a fantasy world. Aki, tell us about your time with Afterimage.
Okay. In this game, you play as a young woman who basically is sending people's souls to the afterworld. And by that, I don't mean she's going around slaughtering people wholesale. I mean, she's like a priestess, I guess, is what it's supposed to be. And she's in this fantasy world, and shit goes down. The village she lives in gets attacked, and people are dying. So she's like, I have to stop this. And then you go about playing a Metroidvania type game that has a little bit of Soulsborne-y goodness added to it. You go around and you kill beasties, and they give you experience, and sometimes even money, very, very slowly. So slowly. I need so much more money, because I suck. And, you know, you can open chests. Sometimes they'll have a new armor bit that's an upgrade to your previous stuff, or they'll have a new weapon for you. And there's a few different weapon types. You can get a samurai sword, a standard, like claymore type sword, a side sword, a knife, a whip. I think that's all the weapons I've found so far. Oh yeah, scythe. I forgot about that. Thank you. And you can equip 2 of them as you see fit, as well as occasionally you can find a spell book, which will give you a new spell that you can use, but it's only 1 spell per book. Each one of the weapons is attached to X, Y, or B. And you just go around killing shit and trying to find your way through these large areas and being like, I don't know where the fuck I am. Because
I gotta agree, I found it very easy to get lost in this game, and it has one of my biggest gripes with games these days, and that's maps that don't fucking appear until you go back to a checkpoint. It's like,
I was actually about to mention that. In this, unlike most Metroidvania games, how where you enter a room, that room is now shown on your map. This doesn't do that. You have to go through sections and then go back to a checkpoint, and then it's filled out on your map, and I fucking hate that. Yeah,
I hate it too.
I think everyone who plays this is going to fucking hate that. It is misery-inducing. Sadly, there's also a problem with fast traveling in the game. You can't just fast travel. You have to have a certain item to fast travel, and I've found a total of 3 of them in 2 full days of playing the game. And going through like 8 different areas. They're not easy to come by, and like some areas you can't revisit unless you have one of those. So, yay. Shops have plenty of stuff, but the only way you're going to get it all is if you sit there and farm and farm and farm, because again, most enemies might give you like 4 of your money, maybe upwards of 10, and items cost thousands of money.
Ouch.
Each. Yeah. Any of the halfway decent stuff is going to cost you thousands or more each. Some of your lesser stuff, like, here's, a health potion or something, it might cost a couple hundred, which is still a bit of farming, but, whatever, doable. The great thing is, again, since it's Soulsborne-y, anytime you touch checkpoint, all the enemies respawn, for better or worse, so you can farm stuff. It sucks to farm stuff, but you can do it. And bosses show up occasionally, and it's all about jumping and dashing around. You don't got any invincibility frames or anything, so it's not completely like Dark Souls. They're not particularly easy. But that might be because I really suck at boss battles into these types of games. If you've played like the old Metroidvania games, this probably isn't going to be too bad for you. I really haven't, so I'm kind of shit at it. The world is really bright and colorful, though. It's a really good looking
game. I love the art direction in the game. It's got a really good style to it. Cute. Oh, the bosses look great.
Yeah, not only the bosses, but even the basic enemies. Like, I've found it's hard to even explain what these creatures look like because they're so weird. Like, there's a giant fish-like person that I've seen that's like this ghastly thing. There's what I have to assume is basically a ram in this world, but it's like this big poofy thing that looks kind of like a cross between an armadillo, a dog, and the reindeer guy from One Piece, all combined into one thing, and a little floofier, and it jumps up and curls into a ball and rolls at you, and it's so adorable. And like, just all the enemies are these weird little what the fucks, and they're fantastic. And because there's so many different weapons, you can figure out what really works for you. I mostly play with the samurai sword because it slashes really quick, and a standard sword because it slashes even faster. And I just equip whichever one's stronger.
Go for speed over damage.
Yeah. Well, the weapons actually go pretty well because you'll find, oh, here's this weapon. Oh, here's another weapon. When you find this weapon is stronger. And it cycles through one of each type of weapon. And then it cycles back to the first type of weapon. And it gives you a stronger one. It just every weapon keeps getting stronger.
Nice.
There are items that you can find, and I assume at some point buy in the store, that you can use on weapons that will upgrade them and make them stronger. I have no idea how many times you can do that to a weapon. I haven't done it to any of my weapons because I've only found like 2, maybe 3 of them, and I want to wait until I have the very last, strongest weapon, and then just put it all on that and be a god. Because I'm one of those people.
Jeez. Well, the game is sitting at $24.99. What are your thoughts on it?
I think it's a try it because, and the only reason it's not a go out and buy it immediately is because of the map issue and because of the fast travel issue. Those really suck a lot of the fun out of the game, not knowing where the fuck you are so often in it.
I hate that about games that do that with the map. Like, that is such... I don't want to say it's a game killer for me. I know there's a few other games that do it. I don't want to say it's a total game killer for me, but it really hurts it, and I hope they change it.
Yeah, but between that and not being able to fast travel without these very limited resources to fast travel, they kind of suck a lot of the fun out of the game.
Yeah.
I think if they update it to immediately put stuff on the map and to just remove the items that allow you to fast travel and just let you fast travel, I think the game would totally be 100% buy it now. And, if they wanted to increase how much money things dropped, I wouldn't complain. But I think it's a good game, and I think you probably might like it if you can get past those 2 things. So I think it's a try it right now.
Sounds good. All right, next up is Nuclear Blaze, developed by Deepnight Games, published by Red Art Games, or Deepnight Games, published by Red Art Games. Released April 28th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $14.99. A huge fire is raging, and you are sent on the spot to stop it. Business as usual for highly trained and experienced firefighters such as yourself. Airdropped right in the middle of this blazing inferno, your main mission objectives are to contain the fire, investigate its causes, and look for survivors. And nothing will go wrong. Jacob, tell us about this one.
Absolutely nothing goes wrong. I'd like to say, normally I am not a fan of Metroidvania games. But yeah, this one is actually pretty interesting.
This isn't really Metroidvania, though. This is just, it's like...
That's how it's described.
It's linear, though.
That's how, that's... Like, other game previews describe it as Metroidvania.
I don't agree with that description, but...
Okay, well... whatever.
Well, I mean, also, fucking no.
I mean, at the same time, I mean, yeah, I do. I mean, it is linear, but at the same time, you do have like the roll function from Metroid. So
that doesn't make it a Metroidvania.
I'm just saying, like, it
Not
has
even really.
Metroidvania involves exploration and revisiting areas. This is just like a 2D adventure game, action adventure game.
Whatever. I'm going to call it a Metroidvania on the tweet just to annoy you.
You motherfucker.
Anyway, so first off, what's really cool about this game is that there is a normal mode, which does have plenty of options, so you can like edit the game, you know, like as you see fit. Like you could give yourself more armor, you could decrease the difficulty on the fly, that kind of stuff. There's also a kid mode, which the dev made essentially for his kid. And all you do is just fight the fires, it auto shoots, and you just save cats the whole entire time, and like you can't die. And I'm just like, you know what, if the game had been like this, I would have been perfectly fine. This would have been game of the year for me. But so that's the kid mode. That's plenty fun in its own right. But the regular game, I was just like, all right, fine, I'll play it, because you can't earn achievements in the kid mode. Lame. But so anyways, yeah, so you're playing as this firefighter who you and your other firefighting buddies have to go put out, amazingly enough, fires at this like forest industrial park-ish area. And you like kind of get separated from your group. You stumble in and you find this like building that isn't on the schematics or anything like that. And you're like, hey, I'm going to go investigate it. And what starts as a simple routine, like, oh, this is a weird warehouse, you suddenly realize you've discovered some sort of like military biological testing installation. And as you go through the buildings and stuff, you eventually start picking up on all the lore, which you can actually ignore. I mean, you don't have to read all the little documents, but if you do, there is a story that definitely follows like some sort of SCP, like, you know, the secure, contain, protect, like with all those weird anomalies and stuff like that. So you definitely get a story, like you get a storyline following that kind of stuff. And it just ends up becoming this huge, like you have to fight fires, survive. Sometimes you're solving puzzles, like how you can put out all the fires like within a certain amount of time before like a nuclear reactor goes off and stuff like that. Yeah, it's just pretty wild. And a lot of it is like one hit and you're dead, but thankfully it just pops you back to the last save point, which there are plenty of them. God bless the dev for this.
Yeah, the dev went all out in making this accessible and achievable for pretty much everyone.
I'm having a grand time with this game.
And it looks good too. I love the water effects. I love the fire effects. It's all pixelated, but it has a really good style and some cool effects to it. I like it.
It really does. And like the difficulty, even though you can change it on the fly, I have yet to. And the game has never once felt cheap with any of my deaths. Like, you know, I look at them and I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't, like, I kept, for whatever reason, like when like the fire will blast out after you opened up a door, I keep hitting jump instead of hitting X to activate my fire hose, which, believe it or not, will kill you. Because jumping into a fire is not good.
No.
But
this game is good.
Well, yeah, the game is good. And it controls pretty well. And it looks great, as he said. And I do appreciate all the work that went into this game. Like, this is a lot of fun. I'm having a blast with it.
Cool. $15 your verdict?
Absolutely worth it. Yeah, I would pay I would gladly pay $15 for this game.
Yeah, I agree. Plus, there's hidden cats to save, so.
Well, yeah.
Find the kitties. Save the kitties. Get achievements. Next game, Project Nightmares Case 36 Henrietta Kedward, developed by NC Studio, published by Feardemic, released April 27th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, and PS5 for $19.99. Get thrown into a living nightmare and explore the past of Henrietta Kedward in this terrifying and ever-changing survival horror filled with bone-chilling visuals. Aki, what is going on in Project Nightmares Case 36 Henrietta Kedward?
Okay, in this, you are literally going into a nightmare.
Yay.
You are some sort of researcher for paranormal items, and you're in some sort of giant water tank, and other scientists are like, hey, we have this cursed piece of shit, and you need to go into its energies and see its past to uncurse it. Which is gibberish, but, hey, game. So you're put to sleep and somehow port to this nightmare world from hell, which is this complicated fucking building that has hallways that go every goddamn where and a lot of dead ends and shit, and gets real confusing and really hard to remember the placement of things. And then you're told, hey, you need to figure out how to uncurse this. And then it becomes this first-person walking sim horror point and click, basically. And there are a lot of points in this where you come across otherworldly things. Like to start off with, you have candles that protect you. And if the candle either goes out because you decide to run for too long and therefore it blows out, or if you run out of candles, which you can find around, they don't refill, so don't piss away your time. If they go out, things in the environment will lift up and be flung at your fucking head and hurt you and stuff. It gets that whole paranormal thing down. Like teacups will raise up and just get chucked straight at your fucking head. Books will be pulled out of cases and flung at you by nothing. It's great. And then, if you keep it up, though, so that shit don't happen to you, which is the smart thing to do, because you don't want to be an idiot, there's also this little salt along a doorway that obviously doesn't have a door in it, but it's a portal. And on the other side of that doorway is a bitch. And it's the witchy kind of bitch. And she's faster than you. And if she touches you, you just fucking die. It's fun.
What was that laugh again?
I think probably.
Jacob, can you do that? Nope. Is he pooping again?
I think so.
No, I'm not pooping.
Well, then do the noise.
I just did it.
We didn't hear it. Oh, well, we didn't hear it. The mic must have peaked and shut itself off.
No, it's not like you. It didn't peak in high school.
So, anyways, God, it's getting worse and worse. So she'll kill you real quick and easy. And there's a bunch of different puzzles you have to solve. Sometimes it's picking up an item and then finding where the item goes. Usually it's that, and it's a pain in the fucking ass. And then sometimes the game will just lock you in that little area with that bitch that you are slower than and won't give you a way out until you find all the items in there with her. Or it'll spawn a different ghost lady in a hallway, and you have to get past her to continue with the story. But if she touches you, you die instantly, and oh yeah, she's faster than you. So what I'm saying is I got stuck because the game pulls bullshit. And yeah, I had fun for, what of it didn't piss me off. And then it was like, oh, here, let's lock you in with this lady, and you have to find 4 pieces of a painting and all the doorways that lead out of here so you can get to safety if she starts chasing you, because she'll run into that and then she'll bang on it a little bit and then she'll turn and walk off. And so it's like, oh, I could just do that. And oh, wait, no, I can't go through these portals anymore. Well, fuck, I'm dead. And I'm dead. And I'm dead. Oh, and I died again. thankfully kept all my progress of what parts of the paintings I picked up.
That's good.
But then immediately after dealing with that, I walked out of solving that puzzle, and then there was a different ghost lady, and I had to get past her, and I still haven't figured out how to get past her because she will chase you down.
Oh, geez.
No matter where you go. And I'm like, I don't know what to do to get
Is there a
fucking
game
rid of her.
guide for this?
No, not right now. Not that I saw anyways. There might be a walkthrough of it in a YouTube format. Probably is. But God knows how long it'd take me to find where I am in it in that video. And, being like, hey, yeah, you kind of have to watch someone else play this in order to get through bullshit. That doesn't make it a positive. That's still quite the negative. But it does atmosphere very well. I'll give it that much at least, because it is a creepy fucking place to be in.
I say the screenshots look pretty creepy.
Oh yeah, it definitely has the fear factor on. It's
nice.
Just sadly, it's just there's a lot of bullshit it pulls. Really
the game's $20. What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna have to pass on this one because and I am the horror person. I love horror games, but it stops being scary when it just becomes, oh hey, here now you die. Oh hey, here now you die, and you just keep doing that over and over in the same fucking area. It sucked all the fun out of the game, sadly. I if I were them, I would make sure people knew how to get around things at least the first time they show up, because until you've gotten past that lady once, you're not going to know how to do it. Because I'm pretty sure she's going to appear again in the game. I'm almost 100% sure of that. And it's like being like, hey, yeah, now figure it out the first time, and we're not going to tell you anything. It's like, that doesn't help me because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And dying to her over and over and over and over and over and over just sucks so bad.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Not everything can be a winner, sadly.
Yeah, true. Next game, Cavity Busters, developed by SpaceMyFriend, published by JanduSoft. Released April 20th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $12.49. Cavity Busters is a roguelite tooth punk bullet hell where you use your one and only tooth to chomp the cavity-infested enemies. Run on the walls, dodge through bullet-filled rooms, and stomp baddies, collect power-ups, contract powerful diseases, and dig your way through the body. Jacob, tell us about your time with Cavity Busters.
Well, first off, I sucked at this game.
Shocking.
So there's
shocking.
Hey.
I'm not even going to talk shit because I sucked at it too.
I'm actually surprised you still don't talk shit.
Well, first, let's lead with this. For the people who want to hear more about the game, you could check out last week, episode 866, where we have an interview with the wonderful developer, Adrian.
So, yeah. So this game is very much along the lines of like Binding of Isaac. It is a roguelite where you really only have one weapon, main weapon at your disposal, and that is a single tooth. And that tooth acts as kind of like a boomerang. And you can toss it at your enemies, and if you can, you can do various tricks with it. It can obviously ricochet off of walls, but one of the nice things is that if you manage to call it back before it ricochets off of anything, if it flies back and into an enemy while it's doing it, it causes more damage to them. But this is a game where you are going to be dying a lot. I mean, that's the general nature of this thing.
So much.
So many damn times. From the ideas I was able to explore, due to my general sucking at these kind of games, it has some interesting stuff with it. There's wall running to get, past various puzzles, gaps in the floor and stuff like that, because obviously you have to jump over them and stuff. But you can also dig through walls, which I thought was kind of interesting. But yeah, like eventually, like there's stuff that you can equip and it'll make you stronger and it helps kill the other enemies. But unfortunately, I'm just really terrible at these kind of games. So it's like,
yeah, it's very much in the vein of Isaac and Gungeon. It is a dungeon crawler, basically the top-down dungeon crawlers like the old Zelda games. Every run is going to be different. Just like in Isaac, I think this game is going to get compared a lot to Isaac, not just because of the gameplay, but because of the style as well. It's got a cool style. It's got I don't want to say an ugly style, but it's very rough and raw. And it reminds me of like Newgrounds stuff from like 2008 to 2011-ish. Yeah, Toothpunk really is a good word for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I think it's a really cool game. I appreciate all the different upgrades and different abilities that can either help a run or totally fuck you over. I've had a few runs just hampered by diseases that destroyed me. The bosses are crazy. If you can beat any of them,
I cannot.
I wish there was some form of stat upgrades in the game. There aren't any permanent stat upgrades. Basically, every new run you do, you start fresh. There is no carryover, like increase your health like Vampire Survivors has, or like increase item drop rates, stuff like that. There are a lot of accessibility options in the game to make it a little easier. It gives you options like auto return the bullet, stuff like that. I can't remember everything, but there's a good amount of stuff in there, and I think it's an enjoyable game. $12.50 is a weird price for, I think, $10. I think it's 10 on Steam. It would have been a better price for it, but I guess you got to make the porting money somewhere. I think $12.49 is still a pretty solid price for this game.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't complain about it. I mean, it's just not my type of game.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so it's just like, personally, I wouldn't recommend it, but like that's just because it's not the type of game that I normally play.
Yeah.
But you know, obviously, if you're a fan of this genre, this is definitely one I think that you'll want to check out. But if you're somebody who's looking for a relaxing time, something that's going to walk you, hold your hand and walk you through everything, this ain't going to be a game for you.
Nah. But everyone else, give it a shot. It's
yeah, totally.
It's a cool one. Next up, Weeping Willow, developed by TechnoCat Games, published by Sometimes You, released May 2nd on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $4.99. Weeping Willow is a kinetic visual novel in the genre of detective story, which takes place in the small medieval town of Weidendorf. This town was quarantined due to an outbreak of plague in poor neighborhoods. Aki, what is going on in Weeping Willow and Weidendorf?
All right. I'm going to give you the very gist of this because this is like a 3-hour game and kinetic visual novels.
Discuss mein Weidendorf.
If only. For those of you who don't know what a kinetic visual novel is, it's just a book. You're reading a book that has pictures. It's a picture book. Have fun.
It's a PowerPoint presentation.
Kind of. In other words, people like Scotty are going to turn it on and they're just going to have it set to auto skip absolutely everything, unseen text, and then they're just going to skip it real quick and get to the end in like 2 minutes.
And pop
Scotty's
all the
a shitbag. Yes. Basically, this woman, her husband's missing. She is considered a lowborn, i.e. a poor bitch. And she's a dog person, basically. And normal people are considered purebloods, and they're wealthy. So her husband was a wealthy guy. He's gone missing. And suddenly, basically a priestess of the local church comes by and is like, I found your husband. And then brings in some dude. Not your husband, just some
dude.
Fucking dude who is claiming to be your husband. but since you guys just moved here and your husband's been sick this entire time, no one knows that this isn't your husband because he has all your husband's shit. He knows stuff that he shouldn't know. And so, shit plays out as you might expect from, the 10 billion pieces of media that has this exact same story. And yeah, it's just a nice, sweet, succinct story that goes through this little mystery, and it's really good.
There's really not much of a review because there's not much of a game. Is it a worthwhile story to sit and read?
Yes, very much so. I really enjoy the story. It has some really good twists and turns in it.
Good visuals with it too?
They're so. They're not bad. They're, not the best looking ever, but it's a 2D older style looking game. So I can appreciate it. It's not the best one I've ever seen.
No, well, it's $5. What do you think?
Totally. It is easily recommended at that price.
And if you pre-order it, you could get it for $4. And I don't know how the pricing works on PlayStation. I know on Xbox, if you own the Xbox One version, because they have separate stacks for all of these, if you own the Xbox One version, you save 50% on the Series version. So if you plan to buy both of them, get the Xbox One version first, and then the Series version.
Goodness.
Yeah. Next up, So Color, developed by Grey Boss, published by QUByte Interactive, released April 13th on Xbox One, Series X and S, Switch, PS4, and PS5 for $4.99. So Color is a puzzle game with innovative mechanics. Push the colored cubes into their correct positions, but first you need to paint yourself the same color to be able to push them. Jacob, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, that description is pretty apt, and that actually... that's the whole game.
That's the whole game. We'll fucking buy it.
Yeah.
I like how you delayed this one from last week because you wanted to put more time into it. I'm like, this
and then
game
I found out
of all
that,
games?
that's all it is. Oh, okay. Yeah. So that's pretty much what it is. You're this little cat blob thing, and you have to push all these colored blocks into these colored tiles, and you do this by changing your own color. And the neat thing is that you can mix and match if the color blocks are available. Color tiles are available. And so let's say that you have a red tile and a blue tile, but there's a purple block that you have to move. Well, then you have to go over to the red tile, turn yourself red, then walk over to the blue one, then you turn purple, and then you can move the block. And pretty much you just go from there. It's it's a very relaxing game. It's not, relaxing as far as puzzle games go, because, sometimes you're just how in the holy hell do I solve this? But yeah,
it gets tough quick.
Yeah, it does. I'm actually stuck on one that I've had to restart I think 7 times now.
Jeez, look at the screenshots for this game before you're like, ooh, $5. I bet this is a really easy 1,000. Look at the screenshots. It's pretty upfront in that it throws some hard shit at you.
I'm sure it'll be an easy 1,000 once somebody posts the solutions to everything up on YouTube.
But give it about a week.
Specific arrow movements you have to push.
But honestly, I thought it was a nice, relaxing time. It's pretty decent. It's cute. It's fun. It's quiet. It's not the worst thing you could spend $5 on.
Well, like you said, it's $5. What's your verdict?
Yeah, go for it. I liked it.
Fuck it, why not, right?
Yeah, I think it's more than that, but
it's a full-on buy it?
I'd put it halfway between full-on buy and fuck it, why not?
Try it.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it's a try it.
No, it goes try it, then fuck it, why not, then buy it.
Yeah, that's...
Because a fuck it, why not is a try it that's cheap enough that fuck it, just buy it.
Yeah, just buy it. Just buy it. Just spend your $5.
It's $5, fuck it. Anyway, one final game to discuss tonight is a preview of Crash Team Rumble, developed by Toys for Bob, published by Activision. This one will be releasing June 20th on Xbox One, Series X and S, PS4, and PS5 for $29.99. Crash Team Rumble takes Crash Bandicoot in a brand new direction placing the series' iconic heroes and villains into a 4v4 team-based competition. Players will duke it out across diverse and dangerous maps as both teams race to be the first team to collect and bank enough Wumpa fruit to claim victory. Jacob, tell us about your time playing the Crash Team Rumble closed beta this past weekend.
Okay, so this is a MOBA that is featuring Crash Bandicoot characters. I find it kind of interesting that this is where the franchise is going, because I think this is an entry into the franchise that literally nobody asked for. I
was going to say, like, who is this game for?
I don't know. Like, it's just like... like let's discuss the game before we like wax poetic on who exactly the target audience for this is. So you're split into two teams, and there are different classes that you could be, and essentially it's light, medium, and heavy. Like, let's not mince words. One person's quick, one person is average, and the other one's a fat guy who can just he could suck up all the Wumpa as you see fit.
Hit hard.
And so what you have to do is that you have to pick up all the I'm just going to call them apples because that's what they are.
It's Wumpa fruit, goddamn you.
No, they're apples. So you have to pick up all the apples on the on the map. Sorry. I wanted to call it a course, and I'm just like, that's not the right word. On the map. And you have to deposit them into your team's little bank thing, while also collecting relics, which can then help boost, they act as a multiplier for the amount of fruit that you collect. And while you're trying to collect that kind of fruit, you're also trying to prevent the other team from being able to collect the fruit. And you could do that with traps. You could do it just by beating up on the other person, which of course then they have to wait 10 seconds to respawn. And then it's just whoever gets to whatever the predetermined amount is the winner. And when you're playing the tutorial, it seems okay, again, I didn't ask for this, but it's not that bad. And then you go online to play against other people. And that's where everything, I was just like, this just sucks. Matchmaking, I never once won a game. I never once came close to it because matchmaking always put me in with other people who were similarly leveled, aka a number 5. Between 1 and 5. Yeah. And the other team was constant. Actually, I never had another team that wasn't. They were always stacked with 2 people who are level 40 and one guy who's level 25. And amazingly enough, they always annihilate you. And it's just whoever, it's they designed the game and then forgot to design anything for to make matchmaking remotely fair. And it's just the whole time I'm just not only is this a game that I don't understand who exactly they made this for, but I'm not having fun. All I'm doing is just getting my ass kicked constantly. And the heavy class designation, it might as well just not exist. It's useless. Yeah, he could suck him up, but he constantly gets his ass kicked by everyone else who's much quicker than him, and you can't move quick enough to defeat the other enemies. So what the fuck's the point? And it's just frustrating. And I didn't have fun with it. And on top of it, I'm just this is a poorly made decision to take for where to take the Crash franchise. You guys could have just made a bunch of 3D action platformers that everyone would have enjoyed, or more Nitro Kart racing. I always liked those games, but no, this is what we get.
Yeah, I'm gonna back up what you say. I don't see why this game exists. I understand that they want to get in on an online situation, but I don't think this genre is at its peak anymore. I don't think the player base is going to be there to sustain it, especially as a paid game. If this came out as a free-to-play game, I could say maybe.
I'm not going to lie. If this was just like a free-to-play game and like, yeah, you had to pay money for cosmetics that don't actually fucking matter, like, because I remember way back in the day, holy shit, probably like almost 20 years ago, there was a Castle Wolfenstein multiplayer only DLC, and I forget what the heck it was called. But it was because the devs realized that multiplayer aspect, it was fun, but in all reality, the game was a bit dog shit, and so they just released it for free online, and everyone was like, oh, sweet, this is great. Like, this could be like that same kind of thing. You just release it for free, and everyone's like, all right, yeah, it's a cool time waster. Like, and you get to play with Crash characters. That'd be great. I would not drop $5 on this. I'm dead serious. Like, I
would drop 5. I would maybe drop 10 on it.
Joe, you are a consumer whore.
I am a consumer whore, so that viewpoint needs to be $5.
Like, I'm. Like,
you would drop $5 on D's nuts.
I mean,
fuck you.
Yeah.
It was fun, but it wasn't fun enough for me to want to keep it installed. The only time I had fun was
the tutorial.
Yeah.
Like,
I almost lost the tutorial. I was telling you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's right. You told me.
It's like a tutorial you can't lose, and I'm pretty sure I almost lost it. It's just, That
does not bode well for the game. Holy shit.
Yeah, no,
No. I gotta give this one a hold off for now. We can't give it an official deny it yet because it's not out yet. They could turn it around. Maybe we'll see some improvement on the game. But I don't have really high hopes for this one, and I hate to say it because I love Papa Roach. Or what the fuck? I'm looking at the music I want to play. So I said Papa Roach, and oh my god.
You should put on the Paw Patrol theme song.
No, we're playing Katamari this episode.
No. Instead of Papa Roach, you should put on
Cut my life into puppies. No. Yeah. I guess we're in agreement that that's a hold off for now, and we'll find out in the future. Maybe in 2 months we'll take another look at it and it'll be turned around, but I don't know. But that is it for this episode. We made it through.
Wait, I thought I was gonna be reviewing Cornhole.
No, that's next week.
Oh.
We're out of time.
Okay.
It's been a long episode. We got to bump it to next week. So ACL Cornhole, we will get to you next week on the show. Music this episode, Katamari. We're going to play something from Katamari. I don't know who I'm playing it from, but it's going to be something Katamari related. Big thanks to Jenny for coming on, hanging out with us, talking about Kepler with us, and all the other fun stuff that she's taken part in. Go check out the links below to get more information on her. Thanks again to Bree coming on, killing 40 minutes of her stream time on this show. And thanks to you, Chuckleflux, for being here and hanging out. So,
aw, thanks, Joe.
Yep.
I was kidding. I don't like you. Does anyone have any final words to end the show?
No, not this time. Sorry.
Okay.
So there I am, barbecue sauce all over my titties.
Go ahead.
No, that's it. That's all I'm going to say.